So there's some very interesting results coming out of the Liberal leadership convention right now, where they're voting on who's going to be the next leader of the Liberal Party of Ontario. Bonnie Crombie, who's the former mayor of Mississauga, definitely by far the most name recognition and more of a fiscal conservative, more of a moderate liberal who thinks the problem with the party is that they've gone too far left and wants to put it back to the center. She was expected to be, she's been the front runner pretty much the whole race. She was strongly expected by people, including me, to just run away with this with a big victory probably on the first, maybe the second ballot. But now she really underperformed, and also the party the party's votes were ridiculously. There was only 23% voter turnout out of 100,000 people, so only 22,000 ish people actually voting, which is especially second because the NDP, when the Ontario NDP had their leadership convention recently, even though the candidate was running unopposed, they had 50% turnout. So you got one candidate and you get 50% of your voters out. You have four, and you only get an actually very contested race about what is the soul of the party, what is the direction the party's going, and you only got that much. So that's just sad. But so on the first ballot, Bonnie Crombie got 43% of the vote. And then Nader Skin-Smith, who's the sort of more progressive liberal from Toronto, who's made the jump from federal politics, backbencher in the Trudeau government, considered a bit of a maverick who's not afraid to break from the Trudeau government when he feels like he needs to. Like for instance, he supports a ceasefire in Gaza, which the Trudeau government does not. He got 25%, and then Yassir Naqvi, who is also more of a left-leaning liberal. Who was previously a cabinet minister in the Kathleen Wynne government, he got 21%, and then Ted Hsu, who dropped out at the end of that ballot, got 10%. And so then the thinking is she's still obviously very far ahead, right? She's 20. She was almost 20 points ahead of Smith, who was her closest challenger. So the thing, okay, well she only needs a few more. She only needs another. 6-7 points, right? But if you look at that, if you look at down the list, well, if you combine Smith and Naqvi, who are very, very close ideologically, they're both the anti-Crombie candidates, and they both made a public announcement to support each other and calling for their supporters to vote for the other guy, the other anti-Crombie candidate, if they don't win. So it was pretty decent chance those could both win. You combine those votes, that almost wins. But the wild card was, well, there's Ted Hsu, right? He's not that from Kingston, who was eliminated. He's not that ideological. You could imagine his supporters, or at least a big enough proportion of his supporters, going to Crombie, and maybe she wins with just with the vast majority of Ted Hsu voters plus a couple, a couple Naqvi or Smith voters, whichever one gets eliminated. But she did not, right? She went up a couple points, so from 43 to 46. But otherwise, that was kind of, Hsu's support was kind of divided between Naqvi and Smith. And then in the second ballot, I already mentioned Crombie. Smith went up to 29%. Naqvi, I think, only had 25%, so he dropped out. And so that's what we're sort of waiting on that, and then we'll know, okay, who won. But it would be very shocking to see large proportions of Naqvi's vote going to Bonnie Crombie. Because, like I said, they're both sort of progressive liberals opposed to Crombie because she said she's going to try to move the party to the right. And she's, kind of, at least implicitly, criticized the government that Naqvi represented, was a part of. But also, he's probably been the strongest, or most forceful anti-Crombie candidate, at a number of the debates. he was going after her for basically like not really representing what he considered the sort of more progressive liberal principles. He criticized her accepting money from these development donors, going after her relatively strongly, more strongly than Nate Erskine-Smith. So him drop I cannot imagine significant portions of people going straight from voting for Nakvi to voting for Bonnie Crombie.
Hey, we're on Eric's video. Hey, look, Eric's doing a live right now because of the election. Eric, what do you mean? Continue.
Okay, I'm trying to remember my train of thought. I was saying. So yeah, I'd be shocked to see large amounts of Nakvi voters voting for Crombie. So like when we went into this, definitely I fully expected Crombie would win pretty easily. Now, like if I'm putting money on it, I would probably put money on. Hey, buddy. I'd probably put money on Nate Erskine-Smith, honestly, which. As someone who is more of a progressive, I generally vote like either NDP or Green. I'm kind of torn because I'd probably prefer Bonnie Crombie to be a leader of the Liberals because, as you know, an NDP Green voter, she would be much easier to run against.
Yeah, so do I. I prefer Bonnie Crombie too.
But Smith would definitely be like a better premier, but just in general, Liberals I think is not very trustworthy.
Why are you so serious? You're being serious. Oh, he's right into the fucking politics. I'll tell you.
Yeah, I'm just finished.
He doesn't even like the fucking Liberals, and he's like talking to.
I can comment. I can
Liberals.
comment on people I hate.
Eric, do you know what? Eric? Delete. Are we recording right now?
We're still. I haven't stopped.
No,
so.
I'm not saying.
No, you go on.
No, I was gonna say something about the NDP, but I'm gonna keep my comments to myself.
Say it.
No, because you're gonna put me on the internet.
No.
Shit.
We don't know. I can edit it.
I really think Jake Mead's doing a great job, and he's got a good chance to become the next prime minister.
He's tied with Trudeau.
Eric, get back in there.